morning, everybody. We are here waking up on a beautiful morning here in Ubud, surrounded by greenery, in the back of like a little temple sort of outdoor complex. And you might notice here, we have a little surprise waiting for us. Our hotel, Airbnb, offers free breakfast every morning. Let's go see what we can enjoy on a nice, bright, beautiful, sunny morning here in Ubud before exploring and doing a lot of the cool things you can see and do in central Bali.
There's nothing like starting off a day in Ubud with some coffee and a fresh breakfast, including lots of fruit, juices, and just really healthy and delicious ingredients on the island of Bali, Indonesia.
Everybody, so here we are at the first rice terrace that we visited in Ubud, not in Bali. We saw a bunch of really cool ones in Canggu, and check those videos out if you haven't seen them already. This one is actually called the Kajeng rice fields, which is just located a little bit outside the city center of Ubud, so it's really easy to get to. We actually walked from our Airbnb. It was only like a 7-minute walk. It's a lot closer than the Tegalalang rice fields, which A, are like 30 minutes by scooter, and B, are really busy. So if you want a more like chill, local, sort of like a hidden gem rice field, maybe it's not as sincerely picturesque with the like deep valley of the Tegalalang, but it's sort of really pretty and charming and peaceful and kind of what you want for your rice field experience. And it's also really easy to get to, so it's a really cool place to come and walk around and see those Instagrammable rice fields that you've seen in Bali, specifically Ubud.
So the Kajeng rice fields are actually a massive open area, and it was really cool to see the local rice farmers working out in the open, but you don't really feel like you're intruding their area because there's so many different walking paths for you to wander around and explore, and lots of palm trees to catch some shade as well. We spent so much time under there exploring, but we eventually were working up a bit of an appetite for lunch, where we went to Melting Wok Warung, which is located just in the town of Ubud, and here they have a really nice sort of coconut curry, which you can get with rice or noodles. They only had rice at the time we went, which is really good. Definitely would go back for the noodles another time, but we were actually already pretty wiped and had a good little first experience here on our first day on Ubud.
Well, as you could probably see, or definitely hear, it is a prototypical rainy morning here in Ubud. We had a little venture planned out to go to see a bunch of waterfalls early in the morning before the crowds came, but today's a really great day to do it because we'll be riding a scooter in pretty much, not a typhoon, but a lot of rain. So we're gonna hang out still and get our breakfast. Life isn't so bad in Ubud, especially when you have a breakfast including your service and beautiful views with the calming rain, which, hey, is required to make such a green, beautiful landscape here. All right, everybody, so after a rainy morning here in Ubud, we did a little bit of a sightseeing tour. Only two things located right in the center and heart of Ubud. Number one was the Ubud Palace, which is kind of located on that main street.
So the Ubud Palace is located right in the center of the town of Ubud, and it is a must-visit place if you want to see some culture and traditional Balinese architecture, because the Ubud Palace was actually built back in the 1800s, and it was destroyed and damaged during the earthquake, but it was rebuilt because it's such a culturally important place to Bali, because it's a place where actually the royal family lives, and you can even come here at night to see some really cool dancing shows and even a fire show.
So the royal family actually lives, so we can't explore the whole entire thing. Sorry it's a little bit loud right now, everybody. There's lots of cicadas in the area, but we've got nice blue skies now after the rain.
And after spending a sufficient amount of time at the Ubud Palace, we made our way through the Ubud Art Market, which is a cool little street with lots of little artisans and vendors selling their crafts, but we had to make our way to the next place soon.
And then also we checked out the Saraswati, or water temple, which is a little small but has beautiful lotus plants and like lily pads and nice little pond in the area.
The Saraswati temple is known as Ubud's water palace, and it is dedicated to the goddess Saraswati, who is the deity of learning, literature, and art.
Definitely worth checking out these two temples, located literally right next to each other. Well, almost literally right next to each other, and free to enter. And as you can see, it's almost 11 right now, and it's still really chill. So definitely would recommend checking out these two places in Ubud to get that cultural and also natural beauty that you want to see in Bali, of course. So from Saraswati Temple, we wanted to walk back to our Airbnb, It turns out we were a little bit west on the main street, and I remembered yesterday we went to this really pretty rice field called the Kajeng rice field right nearby our place. So we decided to take a bit of a loop, getting out of the hustle and bustle of the city, and taking the rice field back, but the opposite way. So the direction we didn't go yesterday. Take a nice little loop in nature. And so far it's really cool. It feels like a little hidden path. These narrow little passage we're going through right now. Got a nice little view of the river. And yeah, it's a fun little way to discover Ubud and get lost in nature after being in more of a hustling, bustling town. It's hot here now. It's humid as hell. Another really cool thing about this trail is we literally are in the jungle right now before we get to the rice terrace. And in this jungle, we actually stumbled upon a legit durian tree. And if you haven't heard about durian, it's the really spiky, sort of yellow, notoriously stinky, very controversial fruits that a lot of people try and many Westerners probably don't enjoy. But it's right here growing in its natural habitat. So really cool to see that little bit of Southeast Asia right in front of your face.
So after a morning of mostly soaking in the local Balinese culture, it was time to soak up the local Balinese food, which we did at Wulan Vegetarian Warung, which is a warung or like local restaurant serving Balinese food, all vegan, including these savory stuffed pancakes, which were nice, and they had a nice little curry on top of them, but they also had nasi goreng, which is another really popular kind of like comfort food, which is like Indonesian fried rice. And we tried essentially what was nasi campur, which is the Wulan 7 veg. And then after eating all this food, we would wind down with a beautiful sunset to cap off the end of day 2 here in Ubud, Bali.
Good morning, everybody. As you can hear, there are loud sounds of water and bugs around me because we are in nature already. We are actually heading to our first waterfall that we visited in our entire life. No, not in our entire life, but in Bali. In Canggu, there really wasn't a lot of waterfalls because it's more flat terrain. Now we're in the lush green, sort of like highlands, I guess you can call them, a little bit more mountainy, a little bit more altitude near Ubud, and we're visiting the first one called Tibumana Waterfalls. So it's only about like a 30-minute scooter ride if you leave pretty early in the morning to beat traffic, but we're just making our way down, walking to the actual waterfall. Hopefully we can see some really beautiful waterfalls here in Ubud, in Bali, and just more beautiful sights to, you know, give us a good idea of what you can see at this beautiful island here in Indonesia. So on our way to Tibumana, we actually came across another waterfall, which I had no idea was going to be here along the way. Really pretty, nice to check out, cool to cross that little bamboo bridge. I think it's bamboo, kind of a little bit wobbly, but you definitely can tell it's secure, but has a little bit of that danger. I don't know if you can hear me, hopefully you can. It's really quiet right now. There's no one else coming behind us as we're taking pictures. There's like a few people in front of us. So hopefully we can have it all to ourselves by coming here at not even that early, but decently early time. All right, everybody, we have made it to the beautiful Tibumana Falls. As you can see, there's nobody here. It's literally just me and Vanessa. Just kidding. Pretty good at the angles though, right?
So although there were other people at Tibumana Waterfall, it was not crowded by any means, and I was very easily able to come in the water and swim around and really get a little bit more of an intimate experience swimming by the waterfall in this absolutely gorgeous part of central Bali. But this was not all for the day, because we had to make our way to another waterfall right nearby called Kanto Lampo Waterfall.
It's crazy here. We're at Kanto Lampo Falls. The water is legit pretty deep. Hopefully my backpack doesn't get soaked. Hopefully you can hear me too. This is why you come to Bali waterfalls before 10 a.m. everybody. Before 9 ideally.
So yeah, I definitely was not feeling the waterfall at this point because it was definitely really crowded. It felt like an amusement park where people were waiting in line to sort of take a picture or ride the ride, so to speak, but we were starving, so we made our way back to Ubud to get some lunch/dinner at the Elephant, which is an international vegetarian restaurant. Here's a bintang, which is a delicious local Indonesian beer, and we had some international cuisine here, which included a pad thai, which is really nice, and a spaghetti bolognese. I do think that the Balinese Indonesian food is better in Ubud, but the views here are outstanding. You're not going to get some like beach ocean views, but you can get views of the Champuhan Ridgewalk, which is a beautiful little walking area right in the jungle where you can escape the crowds and scooters and get a really nice view to end your day in Ubud.
And good morning, everybody. It's a nice early morning here. Not early, but about 8:15-ish in, not Ubud, but just a little bit north of Ubud. Today we're going to do a quintessential thing in Bali, especially near Ubud, which is to visit the Tegalalang rice terraces. Trying to get here somewhat early in the morning to beat the crowds. It's supposed to be one of the most beautiful. Heard it's a little touristy and maybe they commercialize it a little bit too much, but we'll see for ourselves. And a lot of things are touristy for a good reason. So let's check it out and see how beautiful this rice field is in Bali. Oh, hey little buddies. Wow. This is already gorgeous. It already feels like I'm entering another world. Alright, so we literally just started going down the stairs to the rice terraces and it already feels like we're entering another world. It's legit beautiful. Butterflies started crossing in front of Vanessa's face. Nice, some shade with the sun poking through. I imagine coming here at sunset or sunrise is even more magical, but hold that thought, we're still taking it all in. Definitely feels like there's a little bit more people here now. Not a lot, but I don't see more faces. Sun's a little higher up in the sky, so it's feeling a little less like early morning, more just like morning. And what I didn't know is to access other parts of the rice terraces, apparently you have to pay an additional 10,000, which is, maybe it's for upkeep of the area. There's some like bridges, not very big. No, still a bridge, but hey, it's still not a whole lot for me, and maybe it helps the community, so I'll reserve my judgment for now. So one comment on the Tegalalang rice field so far is, of course, they're beautiful. Still have yet to explore a little bit, try to get some drone footage. Hopefully it turned out okay. But there's a bunch of these little swings on the edges of the terraces. And I think they're operated by businesses and cafes, which is really cool, maybe for a picture or unique experience. But all the people that go on the swings are like yelling, "Wee! Woohoo! Yay!" And I'm like, at first, I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny. But then it kind of disrupts the tranquility and peacefulness that someone like vlogging or flying a drone might do. Not cool. Gotta call myself out, but at least I do it in a discreet way, away from other people, hopefully. But my main qualm with that is I think it's encouraged by the workers to do that to make sure the tourists are having a good time. It can be funny and silly, which is a bit of a shame, because I would hope that the people here would want to try and promote the peacefulness and beauty here, but it's also a bit of a business. So I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's just kind of a buzzkill for a beautiful place like this. So now that it's a little past 9, it definitely sounds like more of an amusement park attraction in the back. But what's really nice is there's lots of walking paths that kind of go outside of the main little valley. That is like the tourist hub with all the cafes and all the swings and that sort of attraction-based stuff. So you can still hear the music, but you're a little bit removed from it, and there's still really pretty walking paths to walk along. A little muddy though, the edge of these rice terraces. So make sure you check it all out if you're interested and want to do some walking and see just the whole extent of these rice fields. And then when you come back, you'll have gotten your peace and tranquility, and then maybe you can accept the fact that it's a bit of a touristic place, and then you can enjoy some coffee and away from all the buzz. So, pro tip. So another observation and tip about the Tegalalang rice fields so far. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I just say it as fast as I can, like la 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 la. is really big and vast. So don't just go to the little area where you can get the admission, pay the extra money to cross the bridge, and then you have the whole rest of the rice terraces open up to you. But be careful, because it is a little easy to get lost, but don't be afraid to take some paths that look a little unfamiliar to you, and just really go on an adventure. So on the way back, we tried to make a loop, which is a little confusing, very difficult. And now a guy here is helping us get back. So it took us a little farther away. We'll see if he asks for money. We'll keep you posted on how this ends up. For future reference, just take the way back that you need to. So the guide that we hired for pretty much like 66 cents, which is roughly the price that we've paid to do everything else so far in this rice terrace, he just took us to the opposite end. It was a little bit of a bummer, but it is so gorgeous. It reminds me of the Mara salt mines in Peru, in the Secret Valley, which is so gorgeous, but this is like a rice terrace version filled with water. At least we're getting our money's worth. We're seeing everything we can here. And yeah, it's really beautiful. Just be prepared to spend a lot of time if you want to explore and have to find your way out later.
So after walking in the rice fields all morning long, now we were in the early afternoon and we were hot and thirsty, so we needed to make a stop at TIS restaurant, which is like an Asian fusion sort of restaurant, but it is beautifully decorated. I mean, look at this architecture, everybody. It is so beautiful with the bamboo and the sort of, I don't know, like straw kind of roofs, and the views of the Tegalalang rice fields here are insane. I don't know which is more beautiful, the building or the rice fields. Probably the rice fields, to be honest. But anyway, we chilled here for a little bit and got some refreshing drinks. So we were chilling literally and figuratively, which was so necessary. But thank you so much for watching the video, everybody. Our first impressions of Ubud were insane, and we cannot wait to show you the rest of Bali, Indonesia. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace.